I think I had a midlife crisis, maybe, and I'd worked for the same company for 22 years, and I just couldn't do corporate America anymore, and so I decided to start a company. The idea was we were going to do light maintenance on mid-level size buildings. Kind of one fateful day, we had a surgical center ask us to take on cleaning. We started doing it. We were doing it for months on end, and I always felt like this is baloney. We're squirting and wiping things down. There's no way we're getting everything. And at the same time, I had a brother-in-law, Jeff Evans, who worked for a company that was supplying parts to another company in St. Paul. And they were building a machine that creates a vapor out of peracetic acid. And this vapor apparently could kill every microorganism out there. So Jeff called me and he said, wouldn't this make sense in your operating rooms?
The manufacturer of our workhorse sterilant at the time had realized that the vapors off their sterilant were very, very effective. But they didn't have a delivery system or a way to effectively use them. What we came up with a practical delivery system that we could deliver the vapor where we wanted in the time and place that we wanted to have it.
We thought, well, we'll just market this idea to surgical centers and hospitals. It kind of hit me one night, well, wait a minute, let's try this in homes. I didn't know much about mold at the time. I knew mold was an issue, but I didn't have any idea how dangerous mold was.
He saw the mold market as a prime market for what we're trying to do. He kind of had a vision there that I didn't have.
So we went up to Park City, talked to some realtors, said, hey, do you ever have homes where you're trying to sell and they find mold? And they said, yeah, all the time. And we talked them into letting us try it on a couple of homes. The results were amazing.
And so I think we charged them $500 or something like that, where they had a bid for $40,000, and inspector came back, ran air quality tests, and I mean, he's getting non-detects like hospital level, museum level cleanliness inside the home. It was about that time where we realized, hey, maybe there really is a market here.
My name is Tana, and my husband and I were traveling back from a trip to Texas back to Utah. We got a call from our daughter who lives in our basement, and she says, we have mold. I have mold in my body. She says she had spots all over her body, on her legs, their back, her arms, and they're itching. I says, oh my land, we've got to fix the house. We've got a leak somewhere, a lot of expense. And I went to go to the phone book, and I looked in there for repair of mold in homes.
So this lady here in my hometown called and she said, I need you to come fog my home. My daughter's sick. And I said, well, I'll come fog your home, but no guarantees on your daughter.
He sat down with us and explained to us a little bit after he heard our story. And he said, if the mold is there, it's everywhere in the whole house. Now that was a new concept for me. I hadn't really thought about that. It's in the whole house. If it's in one little place, it's in the whole house, because if it's everywhere, it's in the air.
She called me a few weeks later and she said, I told you so. And I said, what do you mean you told me so? And she said, my daughter is well now. The rash cleared up, everything's great. And she said, because of this, I have an appointment for you to go see my doctor.
She called a naturopathic doctor that had given her quite a bit of help and made an appointment with them and paid for it, and brought me and Mike down to sit with these naturopathic doctors and explain the process.
Julie, the healthcare provider, kind of started to tear up. And Jeff and I were like, what is going on here? And she said, you guys have no idea how big a deal this is. She said, I can't tell you how many people I've had to tell, in order to get well, you need to move out of your house because you can't get rid of mold. It's everywhere.
I think she made them realize, maybe this is going to work and maybe it is going to help people. I don't think they realized how many people were actually suffering from the health effects of it. It's not just an aesthetic problem or a smell problem, it's a health problem.
And we were able to provide that key where they could get it out of them, and then they could come back to a home that was sterile and clean, and they could survive. All of a sudden, they were referring people to us every week.
Anytime I went to visit Julie after that, she always said, I can't get enough business cards from VaPURE Maintenance. They were always running out of it, and she was able to help a lot of people get mold out of their homes. like we were able to get it out of our home.
The big issue in those early days was trying to figure out what our place in the business market was. What value do we bring once we realized that people who are sick from mold because the whole house is infected with mold, and that the dry fog process is the perfect answer for that problem. That was the big turning point to the company, because pretty much since then, it's probably been a decade now, the focus has been mold and health.
My name is Dr. Jeff Wright. I am a naturopathic physician by training. I originally came across Pure Maintenance when I had been studying the mold protocol that was created by a Dr. Shoemaker. And I gradually started to refer patients to them, and patient after patient after patient after patient came back and said, wow, I can't believe how much better I feel after having them treat my house. And over the next umpteen years, I've referred many hundreds or thousands of patients to Pure Maintenance. So I became a huge fan.
We then met with a patent attorney, and we were able to get at least a provisional patent. And when we got that protection, we finally had something now that we could license. People can integrate it into their own businesses that they currently have, or they can, start up their own business around it, come up with their own business model, their own business plan. They'll license the technology from us. They don't have to pay us royalties like a franchise would. They can purchase the license from us for a territory. We can build this proprietary equipment, and they can lease it from us.
He had the whole thing laid out, the licensee program, everything was amazing. He had all the details laid out perfect. So it's really Brandon that took this thing from, this is a pretty good company in Utah that does good work, to, man, this thing has become national and actually international now. I have to give credit where credit's due. It was him that took this thing to the next level.
He was able to take the technology, the process, and the markets and put them all together and come up with a marketing plan that has been very successful.
Probably 80% of my time now is licensee sales and support, and I really enjoy doing that. I go through with them what all it would entail. We go through the areas that are available, how it all works. Once they decide to buy it, then we put them through an onboarding process. Some of them, this is their first business venture ever, and it's a little scary, and so they need a little more help getting started and a little more support. It's really fun. I love working with the licensees. They're great. Mike and Brandon never shut their brain off. Brandon's always, how can we expand? How can we grow? And Mike's the same way. He is constantly trying to improve. What can we do better? How can we make the treatment better? Neither of them ever switch it off.
If you take the growth of Pure Maintenance in the last 3 years and extrapolate it, I think we're going to be in several more countries. We're already in 3 countries now. The US is going to be quite full with license owners throughout. We're already in almost every state.
Every country has mold in some places. And this system is safe and effective. And it doesn't matter the zip code or the geography where you live, this works for your mold. If you have mold in your home and you have mold in your body and you're getting sick from it, you have to have Pure Maintenance fix your house.
With this, seemingly silly little process that we came up with, we've been able to restore the health of thousands and thousands of people nationwide, actually worldwide now. That's far and away the biggest accomplishment. The growth and all of that is, I think, just a byproduct of being able to make people well.